Welcome to this week's Extreme Bible Stories. I've got the handheld camera today because we're going on a bit of a journey. This is part 3 of the story of Moses. If you remember last week, we looked at the plagues, and this week I promised something spectacular. I promised the parting of the Red Sea. Well, we'll come to that in a moment. Moses and the children of Israel had left Egypt, and a long journey lay ahead of them. They started to walk through the desert, leaving Egypt. While they were on their way, Pharaoh actually changed his mind. Pharaoh realized that he had suddenly lost all the slaves he desperately needed, so he set out in pursuit. He wanted to get them back. Moses and the children of Israel walked their way through the wilderness all the way, just as I am walking backwards through my garden now, until they came to something that even they couldn't see a way across. It was the Red Sea. How were they going to cross the Red Sea? How am I going to part the Red Sea? We shall see about the Red Sea. Well, the simple answer is we can't. We can't part the Red Sea in a paddling pool in Birch Grove. And do you know why not? Because it was a miracle that saved the lives of the children of Israel. And all we're trying to do is create a video for a YouTube channel. But we're going to try and do the next thing, the next best thing, okay? What we've done is we've created dry land on top of the pool, okay? And this is what God did. You see, the children of Israel got to the edge of the Red Sea. They had Pharaoh and all his armies following, chasing them. And he got to the Red Sea, and Moses stood there, held up his staff, and God blew a mighty wind, and the Red Sea parted. And the children of Israel walked through on dry land.
Yes, we did.
After they walked through on dry land, Pharaoh's armies carried on trying to follow them. And that leads us to the extreme part of our story. Pharaoh's army decided they would follow the children of Israel through the Red Sea because they could still see it as dry land. However, as the last Hebrew slave left the Red Sea, the water started to come back. Pharaoh drove his men onwards. They got to the edge of the Red Sea, looking about as worried as I am now. They looked down at what was in front of them. How could they make it? Could they get through the Red Sea before it was too late? And they stepped into the water and they all drowned. Didn't think that one through. Pharaoh and his army were completely wiped out. Moses and the children of Israel were safe. They had survived. And God was now going to lead them through the wilderness. Maybe that's a story we'll carry on another time. But that's the end of our 3-part series on Moses and his adventures from a baby in the bulrushes to the Pharaoh's army getting soaked in the pool. See you next week.